What are you doing, Beetle? No. Oh. I'm live. Hello. 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 Good morning, YouTube. Talking to my dog. Oh, YouTube, you got me talking to my dog. Let's hit the record button. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Rise and Shine. My name is Coach Lacy, and I hope that you have already anchored into one of your wellness foundations in the Rise and Shine with Morning Moon group. If you haven't already, be sure to pop over to Facebook to Rise and Shine with Morning Moon and check in with the Daily Foundations of Wellness checklist. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to hit subscribe here on YouTube at Wellness with Watson or Rise and Shine with Morning Moon, wherever you may find me. Ah, it is April 3rd. We are almost to the weekend. Can you even believe it? I've been just marveling over how quickly time goes. It's just crazy to me. Um, and today I had a really cool coaching session with my own mother, and I just thought it was really, really neat. And she's a very busy professional woman, and she's a teacher, high school teacher, and trying to help her build her dreams. And so that was really cool for me, and it got me thinking about how I can better serve people who are just so super busy. And it's rough, right? When you have a full-time job and when you're trying to build your dreams and build your dream life, it's really gets overwhelming, and sometimes you come to a standstill and hit a pause. So I want to talk to you guys today about just those small intentional actions that help move the needle forward, even though it doesn't seem like it. And that is seriously the realest magic trick you're ever going to learn for life. And that is why we anchor in with those foundations every day. That's why I always say choose one thing. Choose one thing. Because you can find yourself after a long, hard day of work, just sitting on your couch or sitting in your chair, staring into space, scrolling through your phone, and like your dreams feel really overwhelming at that point after you've just worked a really long, hard day and you're drained and you're just like, I don't know, where do I even start? Where do I even start? Like, what if I'm not even like, what if I don't even have the skill set to do this? What if I'm not good enough to do this? What if I fail in front of everyone? What if I just like start something and I don't finish it? I get started on it and I'm so busy that I just can't get back to it. And then you just hit a wall. And then what happens? You open up TikTok. You open up TikTok, you go up Instagram, Facebook, you go clean your kitchen, you start distracting. And even though you're already like, your soul is screaming for you to write that book, or your soul is screaming to live your purpose. You have something inside you. There's something, there's a calling on your life and you know it, but you're just too tired to deal with it, right? And so today, I just really want to give you a quick word of encouragement that it's not too late. You might be tired, but if you just push through that little bit of tiredness and do one small intentional action every day, it adds up, right? These little tiny actions, they add up to something big. So if you can just push past some of those feelings and anchor in, you can just anchor in, you'll get past those feelings of wanting to scroll and you are not being true to your soul. It's like you feel like you're almost just neglecting your purpose. And I've been there and I know what it feels like to work a big long, 8 to 10 hour day and just want to flop down in front of Netflix and chill. Like, really, I get that. And there's been times where I've let whole years go by where I haven't touched my dream. But here I am sitting in front of you today. I am living my dream. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm a lot further along than I was when I was working 9 to 5. And, sometimes it's scary. My mom always says to do things afraid, and I'm afraid every day because I never know, where my next client's going to come from or whatever. Luckily, I have a foundation of clients that keep me sustained. But sometimes it feels like it's just too much and too big, and there's so many moving parts. And when I talk with my clients about their dreams and we go into all of the different details, there's a lot of moving parts, and sometimes it feels too big. But here's the thing, it's not. It's not too big. Your dream isn't too big. Our avoidance is just really clever, and we just, our excuses are really, really potent, and that call to just relax is really, really strong. And so we have to push past that, because really that's just spiritual warfare that is distracting us from our purpose. Really, to be busy and not be go working towards your purpose is really just a distraction from the reason that we're here. And so if we can anchor in every day and make choices that give small intentional actions and small intentional habits, we can move the needle and create something beautiful for ourselves. I'm living proof of that. For years, for the last 12 years, I have just been sowing small intentional actions every single day. I just show up. So when you say that you're tired, or you're waiting on clarity, or you're just being too smart and cautious, or this, that, and the other thing, you're just really probably scared. And like, I get that. And being in fear is a powerful, powerful drug. But you have to recognize that you're not really scared that it won't happen because you keep pushing it off. You're actually scared that it will happen. And what, you have to really sit with yourself. What would it look like if if you started to take yourself seriously? What does that actually look like? If you were to start to take your dream seriously? Like, what if you made your dream your job? Like the way that I have positioned it to most of my clients is, you go to work, you have a 9 to 5, you go to work so that you can pay the bills, but that is not your purpose. You go to work and you can serve. So say you have a job, mundane service job, and you are, slinging tacos or whatever. Well, people are hungry, so go there with a servant's heart, and you are getting paid to serve. But that is not your purpose per se, and that is not the calling on your life. So when you go home from that, sure, you could decompress, you can have some dinner, you can watch a show, but then give yourself at least 1 hour a day. Look, a half hour a day is better than none. A half hour to just flush out your thoughts, to figure out the plan. One thing a day, one tiny action a day will move the needle over time. And you'll find that one tiny action over half an hour, it will become something that draws you in rather than something that you're not looking forward to doing and that you're dreading. It actually becomes a divine obsession. My business has become a divine obsession for me. I don't look at it as work. I am constantly, constantly, constantly on my computer. I am constantly working, eating, breathing, sleeping, morning moon. This is my life. And besides, my family and God, but outside of God, my family, and like taking care of my foundations, literally, this is my life. I have to schedule in time to um hang out with my friends and have relationships. Otherwise, I would be so just obsessed that it's a divine obsession that I would just throw myself into this. And it wasn't always that way. I had to work on it. I would have to take small, incremental, intentional actions to keep this dream alive, to keep the fire stoked. It was like a fire burning in my heart, and I had to keep it going. When you're camping and you have to keep the fire going, you have to keep that fire going. Otherwise, it'll go out. You have to start it all over again. So let me ask you again, what would change if you actually start taking your dreams seriously? What would change inside of you? What would that look like for you? Like what would happen for once if you acted like the thing that God put on your heart was actually mattered, like it actually like was actually important, like it actually had some weight, like that is your purpose in this life. How would you act? What if you knew when your end day was and that was the deadline for you to flush out all your knowledge into one place? You know, most people think you build a dream by taking massive action all at once. That's not true. That's the lie they're selling you. You build a dream by taking small, sacred, intentional steps every single day. Every single day, especially when no one's watching, especially when you don't feel like it. You have to push through. It's the tiny small anchoring in. It's the moments of anchoring in. It's waking up in the morning and getting a drink of water to sit down with your coffee and then and journaling and doing your devotion, or like flushing out your thoughts for what your dream is. It's choosing silence over doom scrolling in the morning when you wake up and connecting with yourself. It's replying to the emails that you've been putting off for weeks. It's flushing out that creative idea that you have in like a mind map. It's actually putting into action some creativity, creating something, you know, putting it together. It's leaning into the discomfort of doing a live on Facebook and being vulnerable and getting people to know, like, and trust you. That is the real work, is to follow through again and again and again, and not follow through with the scroll, not follow through with the, I'll do that tomorrow, not follow through with the, oh well, maybe one days they come and go. The real work is in the follow through. The fortune's in the follow up, no matter what your fortune is. And that is what makes us magnetic, is the follow through and the work, and how we hold presence and how we hold peace in a chaotic world. And that is what will draw our dreams to us. And that is what will move the needle forward. And that is what helps us be um, to be aware, self-aware, and live our dreams. So I want you guys to think about how you spend your days and what your habits are like. And I'm always talking about anchoring in and being intentional and rituals that create routines. And the way that I do that is with habit stacking. And habit stacking is kind of like got a buzzword going on from a book, but it's been implemented for a long time. It's a ritual, it's routine, it's rhythm. These are rituals that we do that create routines, that create rhythms of our lives. We already have habits. We brush our teeth, we make coffee, we check our phone. Um, so we must add soul to that structure and the spirit to that. And what is the spirit? While you are sipping your coffee, do a devotional, write a gratitude list. In your shower, speak speak to God, say some prayers, have a meditation before bed, make a list of what you want to accomplish tomorrow. Things like that. You don't need more time. You need to be more intentional with your time. And it's exhausting. It could be super exhausting, but it's worth it. And so when we get exhausted, it's really because we're overwhelmed. And we think that we're overwhelmed because our dreams are too big or too much, and really we're overwhelmed because we're avoiding the thing, and we have to expand our energy to hold more. Because if you think about the greats, you think about people like Tony Robbins, people like that, they have a lot going on. Like Tony Robbins is a great example because he has multiple businesses, he has multiple events that he holds, he has multiple real estate investments, tons of things. This man is holding a lot. It's like, when does he actually sleep? So how do you hold that much? You have to actually just expand your energy. And what does that look like? That means having rituals that become your reality. That means that you pack your time and you realize time isn't linear, it's these habits. And you start to like time doesn't you're not bound to the clock anymore. It's more about what you're doing. Right. And so if you have an 8 to 5, 9 to 5, you show up and you know that that's when you're going to go serve for those amount of hours and you make money to serve. And then you get to go and do your wellness foundations and start working more towards your dream. And while you're serving, maybe you can work towards your dream by making connections and networking with the people that you're serving with, right? So you're not overwhelmed because you're not overwhelmed because you have too much to do. You're overwhelmed because you haven't stretched your energy further enough to hold all of it. And instead of you're trying to do life excuse me, you're trying to do life like in emergency mode. Instead, you have to expand to be able to recognize that these are all just like rituals that we're doing that. And so we don't have to work harder. We have to be truer to ourselves. And we don't have to be more polished. We have to be more present. We don't have to be perfect, but we have to be committed and intentional. And so what that looks like is really anchoring in. I'm always going to go with anchoring in, anchoring in, anchoring in, Um do a check-in every day. Here's your check-in for today. Take out your journal, your notes app, a napkin. I don't really care. Whatever your hand, whatever. But I just want you to be honest with yourself and write this down. I'm starting to give you guys homework because this is what I do with my clients. I give everybody homework. And I want you to really think about this. What is one thing that you keep saying that you don't have time for that you absolutely know that is tied to the next level, the next version of yourself? What do you not have time for? And what is one small, repeatable habit ritual that you could stack into your day starting today? Go for a walk, drink more water, gratitude journal, work on an art project. What? What is it? One thing that you could do every day. And what version of yourself are you still holding on to out of fear of being misunderstood? Let it go. Be yourself. Be honest with yourself. Are you moving towards your dreams or are you just rearranging your distractions so that you can stay small? Because staying small is in the energy. We can hold more when we expand that and we can understand. So if you're feeling foggy and you're unclear and you're like burnt out and you're just like doing a lot but going nowhere, rise and shine, anchor in. Have you done your circle of life check-in the Rise and Shine group? The purpose of the circle of life is so that you can see the areas that you need to work on and the rituals that need to be implemented, that you can have your life and your dreams recognized and be fulfilled. So those areas in your life are full and not empty and depleted. Because if you're working on one thing and you really need to be working on another, it's not going to help you in the long term. So we need to work on the areas that need that attention first. So go do your circle of life in the Rise and Shine with Morning Moon group check-in. Anchor in, look at your wellness foundations, and then write a goal list. Write goals out. 3 goals for the next 3 months. What 3 things do you want to accomplish? 3 more goals for the 6 months. What 6 things you want to accomplish in 6 months? And then 1 goal for a year and 1 goal for 5 years. And then you arrange your daily rituals and habits and routines so that you can meet those goals. And if you need help doing that, that is exactly what I do. Please reach out to me. I have programs for everyone at whatever level you're at, whatever level that you're at financially, whatever level that you're at spiritually, mentally, physically. I have something for you. Reach out to me. I'm taking new clients for a limited time. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, you guys. Remember, when your foundation is shaky, your habits crumble. And when your habits crumble, your dreams turn into dust. So you need to ground yourself and anchor in. I am always hammering in the anchoring in to your foundations because that is what you build your dreams off of. If you don't have a foundation, you can't build your dreams. You can't build that dream house if there's no foundation. So you don't need the next vacation. You don't need a retreat. You don't need, another 30-day program to tell you what you already know. You need to believe that God put a dream in your heart and that there's a calling on your life, and that deserves your daily attention and devotion. You were made for more than just the hustle. You were made to live with conviction and not confusion. So today, just start small with one thing. Be honest with yourself. Stack your habits, and then when you're in doubt, get quiet and ask, what would the future version of me thank me for doing today? What will my future self thank me for? And then go do that. Pretty. So get outside, let the sun hit your face, or curl up and journal and read if it's raining, whatever. It's sunny here today, so I'm gonna go outside. But I will see you tomorrow. Anchor in. I will see you in the Rise and Shine with Morning Room group. I hope you have a lovely day.